The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary Related Entertainment.
Oh, I think I lost the music. Always have to come on when there's music. Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes. Now in our 10th year of broadcasting each week, we continue talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out how they're working to support those with needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's Cabinet and Appliance Showroom located in the Waikapu Base Yard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. During this hour, we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. Today, we're starting off the show talking with Debbie Amaral, who's the Director of the Early Childhood Services Department at MEO, otherwise known as Maui Economic Opportunity.
Yes.
How you doing, Debbie?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to have you on board and talk about what's happening with early childhood services. And I think probably people are most familiar if we call it Head Start.
That is correct. And we also have our infant toddler program, Kahikamali'i.
That's true. That's true. So what are we doing with Head Start right now? Are we working on next year?
Yes, we are. It's a constant flow of activity for us. But right now we are in recruitment and we've been accepting applications. Open enrollment starts annually in February. And so at this time, we are accepting applications for children that will be 3 by July 31st of this year. And our selection includes children who are TANF eligible, so temporary assistance for needy families, families who have households that are 100% poverty based on the federal poverty guidelines. And we do prioritize children who have that are homeless or in shelters that are not secure. You know, people who have unplanned situations where they're living with family and cannot find housing. And then we also prioritize children who are in foster care.
Wow. Interesting.
Oh, and we also prioritize children with disabilities. So we work in partnership with the Department of Education because they have to be certified through the DOE in order to be considered for eligibility.
Are any of those new criteria?
No, they've been ongoing criteria. We have a really large emphasis on homelessness. It's a nationwide emphasis. So we're really working with our community partners, especially at Kahaleakeola, because we want to make sure that the population who needs it are the ones that receive the services.
I see. Interesting. Now, when they start they're 3 years old by July of this year. Mm-hmm. They start school in September or August or...
In August, and we do prioritize, even though we open enrollment for 3-year-olds, right now we do prioritize 4-year-olds. And the reason for that is because we want children to have that experience prior to going into kindergarten. Research has shown, and we've talked about brain development and about children who are not exposed to various experiences. Many times they may enter into kindergarten, which is mandatory in our state, but they may have a deficit in terms of experiences and or skills in terms of being ready to learn and being ready for the experience of being in a large group classroom with one adult in kindergarten. A child who hasn't had those experiences may flounder and not be as ready as peers who have had a preschool experience. So those 4-year-olds are prioritized. However, we do have several children that are 3, and if they come into the program at 3, they're able to transition for another year. So they're lucky. They get 2 years of Head Start.
Wow. Hey, I can relate to that smaller school or smaller class into the next one. When my family moved from out in the country, I went to a school that there were 3 of us in my class.
Oh.
Me and 2 boys, and it was like, you know, who's the smartest in the class? Well, you don't even have to go there. You know, there's one girl, she's got to be the smartest. And then when I hit the 8th grade, we moved into one of the towns, and that school had 42 students in that grade. So I go from three in a classroom. I got to tell you this: the schoolhouse was a 2-room schoolhouse.
Oh.
So it was grades 1, 2, 3, 4
All in one.
Yeah, and so for 3 years I got to learn ahead, right? And then you had the boring year, right? And so I moved when I was going into the 8th grade into that larger classroom, and I'm sitting there looking around. I'm going, how do I compete with this? What? And it was kind of like a lost year for me because I was just trying to get related to that.
Right.
And that being the 8th grade, we hadn't gone to the intermediate school kind of thing at that point. It wasn't. It was a junior high. And so when I hit the freshman year in high school, all of a sudden I'm with 200 students.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Talk about culture shock.
And it's like, oh my gosh, is this ever going to end?
It just keeps growing.
Yeah. It's like, I want to go back to the small school. But it was, it was a challenge to catch up with them because they had learned so much more with the larger setting and more activities to take part in. And then, of course, after 4 years of high school, I go to college, and I'm one of 2,000.
Absolutely. But, all that diversity of learning that you were able, and the socialization, that it built you up for the day that you left for college.
Yeah.
So it was perfectly planned.
Oh, I don't know about that, but it was quite a shock to the system.
Bet.
And that's at the age of, what are you, 10, 12 at those points in your life.
Right.
You're talking about somebody who's 3 or 4.
Yes, and in 3 and 4-year-olds in our classrooms, we have between 2 to 3 adults. In some situations, we may even have 4 because we do have some of our classrooms, we have 5 that have partnerships with the Department of Education. They're called inclusion sites. And with those partnerships, you can have up to 4 adults. So for a child in a classroom environment in preschool, having that, it's the attention, but also the responsiveness of the adult. When they have a need, there's someone there to respond and to provide them with guidance. In a kindergarten classroom, many times it's 1 adult to anywhere ranging from 20 to 25 children. And so that can be very challenging, again, for a child who has never had that experience.
Right.
Because, and also for the teacher to be working with children that haven't had a preschool experience.
Interesting. Now, in Head Start, though, you're talking about 4 adults in the classroom. How many children are in that classroom?
20.
20.
Every center we have,
Okay.
we have an enrollment of 20 per location.
Okay, that's your limitation.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 1 for every 5 students. That's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah. So just about every need should be taken care of.
Pretty much that we can anticipate.
Right.
Sometimes there's situations that we don't anticipate, but the staff are awesome. Our program, we're very, very fortunate. We have amazing teachers, amazing assistants. Our DOE partners are responsive as well. And, for early childhood, it's a specialty. In the state of Hawaii, we have licensing requirements that we are required to have. Our wonderful UH Maui College offers an amazing program for individuals that are interested in coming into the field. And, it's just very rewarding to work with young children. It's fun. It is never a dull moment. If you're looking for a good workout, they are active.
I gotcha.
But again, I'll go back to the rewarding part, and especially working in a program like Head Start, where you see significant difference of the first day that a child comes into the program. And, many of them, parents, although we serve a vulnerable population, many of our parents are very astute to reading through their children and providing skills and opportunities. So these children walk in with a wonderful array of already established experiences, and then it becomes enhanced in the program.
Wow, that's interesting. And I think I saw something about you had some teachers. I don't know if that's the correct term for them at this point, but they worked with your program and went to school at the same time and graduated this last year.
Oh, yes. We have many of our students that are either taking in class or online courses. And, to balance, some of them are parents themselves, have families. Some of our employees work 2 jobs and still fit in classes. So I truly can be inspired and amazed by the abilities that they have to keep it all in check. And, if you're doing an early childhood course in college, it's very applicable because you're learning the skills and then you can apply it. But then there's all the other criteria in terms of the math and the social services and sciences that, may not be as applicable. However, they still pull through and they make it happen to get their degrees. So we're very fortunate.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I would think that, like you say, it's the other classes that you kind of look at and you go, do I really need all that?
Well, and it's funny because if you talk to most people, the one class that they leave till the end, math.
Really?
Many people, they'll leave that math for the last because they're dreading it. And, it's part of the requirements. So, but I know that the college works very hard to make it as interesting as possible to get through, to pass that course so they can graduate.
It's hard to challenge somebody in math when they've been challenged by a 3-year-old.
Absolutely.
It's just leaves a lot to be desired. Interesting. That's great. So all of your teachers are licensed, have all the proper credentials. And do we have enough teachers for the island?
No. I think that is a growing field that we want to encourage anyone who's interested to look into. And they're welcome to, of course, contact the college and or contact myself, because I would love to talk to anyone who's interested in the field who would be wanting to either come in and visit a classroom. It's sometimes people will select a field and think, oh, this is what I really want to do. And then when you have the hands-on experience, you kind of go, it's either going to make it solid for you. It's like, yes, this is what I really want to do. Or, I changed my mind. I really want to go look at doing something different. And of course, with this program, and I think in working with children in general, and I was going to say Head Start, but I think in working with children in general, you have to have a sincere passion and belief that every child has a beautiful gift to offer. And they're all at different developmental stages at various, ages.
Right.
And they're all unique and beautifully different. So it's just embracing that. A lot of people who come into the field have such a passion for, and this I will say in Head Start, because we work with vulnerable population, you have to have a very long, a very good way of managing yourself in terms of self-care and having that patience to give children those chances, because you may be repeating guidance several times a day,
right,
or redirecting a child several times a day, and yet loving that child unconditionally throughout the time. So,
right.
And we also, for Head Start, we do have a policy that we cannot exclude children due to their behavior. So that's a unique difference from several other preschools. And the reason for that is because that behavior may be connected to something that has happened in the child's past, perhaps trauma. And so the goal is to work with that family and or child to make sure that he or she can get the skills and or tools. And children are extremely resilient. However, due to several experiences, it may be something that they need some even professional therapy to help them through.
Interesting.
Even at 3 and 4, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the sad part of it.
Yeah.
What's the story behind this child?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And many times the behaviors have something connected, and it's our job to, of course, we're not going to interview the child, but to find out through the adults and the family, and or sometimes it's CWS, Child Welfare Services, that we work with, to look at the root cause so we can help heal what's been broken.
I'm sure it's hard for us to imagine some of the things that 3-year-olds have been through in their short lives.
Yep.
And we look for, I guess, as an outsider, I look at it and I say, okay, what we're talking about, like brushing teeth, childhood hygiene kinds of things, and so on. But that may be totally immaterial to what's really going on with this child.
Absolutely. We can think about things like experiencing or observing domestic violence. Just it's a number of different things. Being abandoned, having a younger sibling take care of them because their parents are high. So, we have a variety of situations that have happened in my experience that I've observed in our families. But again, all that child needs is that one adult that's going to be responsive and think that child is magic.
Right.
And also making sure that the child is in a family and in a household that is providing that support for that child.
Right, and is safe.
Absolutely. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Wow. On that note, we have to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out what's going on in their world. And today we've started the show talking with Debbie Amaral, who's the director of the Early Childhood Services at MEO. Interesting where that conversation took us here before the break.
Very true.
We kind of start off thinking, okay, we're going to talk about the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses and so forth of the program itself. But when you start talking about the children that are in the program and the teachers who are working with them and the skills that they have to have, I mean, you can't just come in off the street and walk into a classroom with 23-year-olds, and that's 23-year-olds.
Yes, 3 or 4-year-olds.
But our 23-year-olds aren't easy either.
That's true.
But in today's world, a 3-year-old is not the same as it was 20 years ago.
No, very different. I'm sure that there's adults that can speak to their experiences that were quite similar. However, the intellectual differences with technology is very different. And if you can go back for those of, I'm looking at Susie and I'm thinking, yeah, you and I can relate. When we went to kindergarten back then,
right.
Today, walk into a kindergarten classroom, it is highly way more advanced in terms of what they're learning, and then walk into a preschool classroom, it'll remind you of what a kindergarten classroom used to be.
Oh, really?
And of course, for us in early childhood, we do not look at desks and chairs. It's open environments, hands-on learning through experience and play. That's children's work. That's how they learn. And so the environment is designed for a quality learning experience, along with trained adults to facilitate it.
Right. Interesting. Now, do you have much of a dropout rate?
In terms of staff?
No, of students
children?
once they start?
Yeah, we do have, I want to say Molokai is one area that we have children that drop out, and basically they leave because either the family cannot find employment or the children are there perhaps with another family member, and then situations change, so they move.
I see.
And in Head Start, we do have a slight turnover of families that either move or drop out for several reasons. But for Head Start, within 30 days, and that's one of the reasons we are required to have a wait list for our program for every location. So in the event that a child exits the program, we have 30 days to fill the slot with another child.
And then, if I recall correctly, you almost have as many on the wait list as you have in class.
We do, and when we track our wait list, we monitor of the wait list who are income eligible and or meet those criterias that I shared earlier. And then for those that are over income, they remain on the list. And interesting enough, for Head Start, if we exhaust everyone on the list that is of 100% poverty and or of the other criteria, we can go up to 130% on the poverty guideline. And that way it opens up more availability and access to other families.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the reason for that is some communities might have challenges in terms of filling their slots. And so Head Start gives us a little bit of flexibility. And of that, it's a 35% of our funded enrollment that we cannot exceed. So they have all of their, there's all these monitoring systems in place to make sure that we, as we enroll children, we're doing our due diligence to make sure that they meet the income criteria and that we are validating their income to make sure that we're within the
guidelines.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, so you've got how many locations?
So we have 11 sites.
11
10
sites.
on Maui, 1 on Molokai.
Okay, so now, given the site, the area, is it like the surrounding area that fills that site? You don't come from like Lahaina to go to Wailuku.
Well, interesting enough, when a parent comes in to fill out the application, we have a family case manager that works directly with the family to do the intake. And we may have families that live in Lahaina but work in town. So
okay.
we are welcome to make sure that we are supporting the family to the best of our ability based on what centers
Right.
we have to offer. So we can be flexible because sometimes a family might move from say Haiku to Central, and if we have an opening, we can definitely move that child. But if there's no opening, then the child will either have to maintain that slot and or drop from the program until we have an available opening.
Oh, I see. Okay. Because I know in many cases the families want to be close to where the child is going to school.
Absolutely. And we do have centers that are located on site, like at Luana Gardens, for example. So for families that live there, it's so convenient because they're right there.
Right. Yeah, I remember one of my employees years ago moved. She was out in Neva Beach, I think, and she said, "I'm not going to let the kids go to school out there because it'd take me in traffic over in Honolulu, right?
Absolutely.
It could take me an hour and a half to get to the child if something happened."
Yes.
And so she moved him into a charter school, which was like 3 blocks from the office.
Oh, good. Especially with the rail. The rail created a lot of traffic.
Oh, it was awful. But I loved having them that close because after school they just walked. There was two kids. They'd walk to the office and we could watch. What is it? The Big Red.
Oh, was it Clifford, the big red dog?
Yes.
Yeah.
We could watch that together, and I was like, "Susie, what are you doing?" And I said, I just love it, you know. It was fun. Now, of course, they're full grown, and one's serving in the military, and it's like, I mean, you were that kid that came over after school. I can't believe it, you know. But yeah, it's just, I can see that there could be some really interesting stories being told about how you got into this school or that classroom and whatever. But you guys are doing a great job.
Oh, we're very fortunate.
How many years have you been doing? You been doing?
Gosh, I have been in Head Start coming up on my 24th year.
Are you really?
Yep.
Gosh, I didn't know you started right out of kindergarten
Oh.
yourself. That's fabulous. You've grown up with the program.
I have. And, you know, having that historic information is such a value because as we make decisions, I can go back and remember or, you know, bring to the table some really good information. But also it's a appreciation for, number one, the community, because Maui County is such a beautiful place to live. And the people here are amazing. And the aloha spirit, regardless of who you are and where you come from, you know, it's just alive and well. And we're very fortunate. Again, we were talking earlier, for Head Start, we are federally funded, but we also receive funding through the County of Maui. And we are one of the only counties that invest in early childhood services in young children. So we receive funds for extended day for our after-school program, so families can work or go to school or go have job training. We also have a summer program funded purely by the county because federal Head Start does not provide funding for summer, so families who are working would not have services during the summer.
Wow.
And then Kahikamali'i, our infant toddler program, we receive scholarship funds so that families who cannot afford it with demonstrated need, they're able to get a scholarship for their child. And
That's
otherwise, they would not be able to afford. And for that younger age, it's 12 months to 3 years of age. So that's a real gap for our community, because many people have a difficult time finding care for their younger child.
Right. Well, you've built up a tremendous program over there.
We're very thankful.
Our
And
hats off to you for what
thank
you've
you.
done
And
what
our
you continue
staff.
to do. Yeah.
And our agency, MEO, again, very, very supportive, and our board of directors. We're very fortunate.
Very good.
Thank
Debbie
you.
Emerald, the director of the Early Childhood Services from MEO. Thanks for joining us
Thank you to Susie.
and sharing the story.
Happy to. Thank
Okay.
you.
We'll see you later.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to shift gears. We've been talking about the early childhood programs, the kids in 3 and 4 years of age. Now we're going to go up to the, what are we talking, 18 to 20?
16 to 24 years old.
Oh, okay, I was right in the middle of it, 16 to 24. We really jump ahead on this program. You know, we go from one extreme to the other. So we've got Marshall Norman, who's the head of the Job Corps Center here on Maui. How you doing, Marshall?
I'm doing excellent today.
Are ya?
Yeah, doing very, very good.
Hey, I like hearing that. And you brought some folks with you. Who we got?
So I brought Jeremiah with us. He's one of our students from Office Administration, or one of our vocational training programs that we have up on the site. And then we also have Jim Kusick as well, too. Jim is our outreach and admissions specialist, so he knows everything there is to know about getting students into our Job Corps program.
Whoa, that's quite a tag.
It is. I wear a lot of hats.
A lot of hats. Gotcha. Jim was with us last time, I think, when you were on.
Yeah.
And had just started or something. You're close.
I was a couple months in. Now I'm further in. So
Now you're
yeah,
polished.
somewhat.
And I think the last time
as polished as I can be on Maui.
you see, I think last time we talked about how you had some openings.
Yes, we do, and we still have openings on the Maui campus. We have a capacity of about 128 residential students, and so we are open for business. If people want to learn about opportunities at Job Corps, I'll drop my number now. It's 808-579-6506. And we can have a chat and talk about all the open doors that are available to somebody who qualifies for Job Corps.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's
so-
get somebody in the door for you.
Sure. So there's three major requirements to enroll in Job Corps, and one is, and you have to be between 16 and 24 years old. You have to meet the low income standard as an individual and or as a household income. And you must be a legal U.S. resident or a citizen. Those are the three main qualifiers. And you have to be willing to train and work hard, and you want to meet your goals. So
Gotcha. Okay. Do you have to be a high school graduate?
you do not. We offer a high school diploma. You can earn your high school diploma or a GED, and then we also offer 4 main trades on the Maui campus, which are culinary arts, which it gives everybody the opportunity to learn about all the back kitchen equipment and the front end customer service situations that people find themselves in restaurants. Then we offer facilities maintenance, office administration, and retail sales. So those are the 4 main vocational trades that we offer on Maui.
Retail sale. That's not mentioned on your website.
No, retail is actually one we're currently in the process of upgrading that trade. It's going to be going to hospitality and lodging. So we're
Okay.
really, really excited about that transition. And it should open up our training programs and definitely make the site and Job Corps more relevant to the needs of employers here on our island. And that's really what Job Corps finds itself in. We're in this very unique place to meet the needs of employers. When employers come and let us know, hey, these are our workforce demands. This is what we need. in our employees, how can Job Corps fit that need? And then it's really fun then to work with our students coming into the program to say, hey, we know that you have a need for higher education and training. This is what the employer needs are, and then we pair and we link them together. And it's all done on behalf of the U.S. Department of Labor, who funds the Job Corps program.
And it's he wants to say something. I can see it.
Let me introduce it. It's great because Jim and I can talk about this program and its benefits and 24/7, but really who really actually experiences this program and who can talk about its merits and why it's successful are our students. So Jeremiah, you've been with us for a few months now. Why don't you tell us how you got into the Job Corps program and then your career track and pathway, what you want to accomplish, and how do you want to leverage Job Corps into your future?
Coming up on 2 months in the program. Recently started in February. I've been working on my GED. Gonna finish that pretty soon. I'm in the office administration trade. It deals with Microsoft and all the different computer skills you would need in an office type setting. My career track, I plan to go to a community college in California and study communications. And Job Corps is a really good opportunity if you've fallen behind in school or you just need help with finding work.
Did you not like school?
I fell behind because my credits never transferred. So I decided it was going to be hard for me since I was supposed to be a junior already and I'm 17. So it was going to be hard to catch up. So I decided Job Corps would help me out with getting my diploma, and then I could also learn a trade.
Interesting. How'd you find out about Job Corps?
I found out about Job Corps when I saw the little flyers at my high school, Maui High, and I decided I wanted to go there. I looked into it, went on the website, and did a little research about it, and it really appealed to me that it would be a great opportunity for me.
It's so would you be graduating this year from high school, or would it be like another year if you'd stayed in high school?
It would be another year if I was still in high school.
Okay.
I would have been the class of 2020.
Okay.
But now that I'm in Job Corps, I'm probably going to get my GED diploma by June of this year.
Wow.
So it's really helped me get by in life. And
right.
I should be finished with the program by December or January of next year.
Okay. And then you want to go to further training
or just community college in California.
And Job Corps has a program which can send you there, right?
Yeah, so one thing that we've talked about with Jeremiah and some of the other students that we're seeing, especially a lot of students coming out of our office administration program, is they're going to an advanced training program at Job Corps centers on the U.S. mainland. The one specifically for office administration is located in, that we're seeing a lot of popularity with, is located in San Jose, California. So we're seeing students transition from our Job Corps program here going into what is our TCU program, Transportation Communications Union, where students are further learning more customer service skills to work within the transportation industry, anywhere from working with airlines, bus lines, and with rail too. And we're seeing some good students go and flow into that, utilizing their office administration skills and pairing it up into customer service skills and finding jobs within those industries. And that puts some students in California. We do see some of those students also coming back here to Maui and Hawaii and working in our travel and airline industry here. So it's an awesome component that Job Corps does. And students, it's still part of the Job Corps program, so it's still funded by the U.S. Department of Labor. So the only cost that it is to students is just their time and their participation.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah, some of the quick benefits, though, that because we're funded by the Department of Labor, I think that Job Corps is the only game in town where we actually pay students to finish their diploma and get a trade training.
Right.
So we have a mock payroll. It's real money, but they get paid every 2 weeks. So it's quite exciting, all the things that we offer. The advanced training, the placement services. We can also pay for an associate's degree at Maui Community College if those want to stay on island and go that route as well. So, all of the training and the education, we say that it kind of equates to about a $37,000 scholarship, which includes the room and board, all the medical benefits, and 3 square meals a day, and all the fun recreational stuff. But I think a credit at MCC is about $165. So 2 years worth of credits there. I think it's close to $12,000 to $13,000 more savings to the student who might go that route. So the benefit is huge.
It is. It is. That's exciting. And was this a field that you've always kind of wanted to go into?
Yes. I've always felt like office administrations would be really good for me because I am more of a 9-to-5 worker.
He just puts it right out there. That's great.
One of his goals is to become an ESPN announcer as well. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's see. We had somebody who was that from Hawaii, didn't we?
I'm not sure.
We've had baseball players from
Yeah.
Baldwin High School.
Right.
Our mayor, Mike Victorino, his son, Shane Victorino,
Right.
played for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Right,
Kurt Suzuki is a catcher for the Washington Nationals right now.
right.
So,
Chris Berman has a place here, I believe.
Yeah. But I was trying to think of who the announcer was that went from Honolulu to ESPN. Made it big time. Huh?
Neil Everett.
Neil Everett, right? Yes.
Remember Neil?
He was cool. He went all the way. So yeah, it's something to strive for. So once you finish school on the mainland, what's the next step? I mean, is it getting a job from that point? Are you willing to go anywhere?
Well, I'm gonna try to take steps towards ESPN. I mean, I feel like I would stay in the collegiate level of announcing for sports and sports analyzing. So
Okay.
I feel like that would be a good way to gain different exposure to the field.
Okay. Interesting.
And bringing you on the radio to talk about the Job Corps program right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There you go.
Learn your radio
He's-
voice.
Yeah, he's
Very, very good.
studying right from here. We've got to take a short break, and we're going to be right back.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes. Now in our 10th year of broadcasting, we're talking story here this afternoon with Marshall Norman, who's the head of the Job Corps Center here on Maui, and with is John.
Jim Cusick.
Jim.
Yes.
Why do I want to call him John? Oh, hello. I know why. Jim Cusick.
Yep.
And Jeremiah, one of the students that they've brought along with them, who he knows where he wants to go, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's fun. It's really, really fun to see students come into the program to catch fire and to get passionate about it. We have some students that come in to the program and they know exactly what they want to do, how they're going to use Job Corps to leverage themselves, say within the culinary arts field or within facility maintenance, office administration, retail sales. We also have students that come into the program that might not have had any prior work experience before at all, or really have any idea where they want to take their education. And I really think that that's the area of service and the area of community that Job Corps best serves, is looking at that, where that slice of pie between post high school and kind of pre-college and employment. Yes, we do have some of our students who come in and they might have been so credit deficient that they weren't able to get their high school diploma, but most of the students come into the program, they have their high school diploma, they just need some of that extra assistance to help them into higher education or into advanced career fields. And that's really where I feel like Job Corps can really work with those individual students, really help them realize their goals, and then help set them on a path of success. But once again, it's not Job Corps doing that, it's the students doing that.
Right.
Job Corps, all we do is we assist them. We provide the programs and a pipeline to help assist them to realize their goals. But it's not Job Corps doing it. It's always the students. The students are the ones that are realizing their own goals. The students are the ones that are making their own gains. The students are the ones that are making employers' needs. And that's what's really fun. And I think that's also why employers are drawn to the Job Corps program, because they see that it's the students rising up to that occasion, rising up to those new kind of workforce demands, and making it happen.
Well, now the instructors that you have for these various programs, these are people who are right in the field, right?
Yeah, correct. So all of our training instructors, especially our vocational instructors, they've had, lots of workplace experience working in their fields. Culinary arts, our culinary arts instructor, Larry Tuzon, just does a phenomenal job working not only with our students, but also has a very solid community reputation out there, working with various restaurants and other catering businesses. Facility maintenance, our instructors are well trained, they're well certified, they've worked for many different hotel and lodging companies or other industries that would need maintenance services. I could go on and on. Office administration, our instructor worked with Stanford University for a while, educating educators and doctors in IT and technology. And so that's just a little bit of kind of the experience that our trade instructors bring that. Our academic instructors come from very different and diverse academic backgrounds too. And sometimes I really like to think that Job Corps is a very, very positive, and it's a very developmental environment, especially on the academic side, because our class sizes are so much smaller than a lot of these instructors have experienced in a long time. So when we hear about, education really being squeezed by high, class sizes and, just one-on-one teacher instruction, it's really, really difficult when you have so many students in a classroom. Well, our classrooms usually range in an academic setting, usually between 10 and 15 students.
Wow.
So it's very, very small. Still focus on explicit instruction the entire length of the course period, but it allows much more opportunity for the instructor to meet that student needs. In our trade classrooms, oftentimes the instructor to student ratio that you're going to find is usually about 10 students to one instructor per class period. Might go as high as maybe 12 or 15, but nothing higher than that. So it really allows that student to get a lot of individualized, personalized attention when they're in the program.
Now, that also allows them to move through the program a little quicker, or in some cases a lot quicker from past experience.
Yeah, and so our program is open enrollment and open exit, and Jim can talk a lot about this. We're taking in students every 2 weeks because we're also graduating students on a biweekly basis. So we will work with the student and their needs and their capacity to tailor a training program that's specific to them. Some students might come into the program and they might only need their trade certificate, and we'll work with them, and it might take them as little as 6 months coming into the program to be complete. Other students might, they might need more assistance with achieving their high school diploma. They might need to improve their math and reading scores so they can be college and career ready. And then they also need that career technical training certification too, and it might take them a year and a half to complete the program. But it's okay. It's all based on the students. It's all based on their need. And if the student is willing to work hard and work efficiently, the program will work for them.
It's technically a 24-month program, but you can get an extension for up to a year for advanced training, which the Job Corps pays for you to go live on a center on the mainland and or a college for your associate's degree. We find that the average stay is somewhere between 11 and 14 months for most students, because whether they're focused or not, that's kind of the average that we've picked up.
Now, are most of your students residents?
Most of the students are residents. We do have both options. We do have a resident option and we have a non-resident option. If you're a resident on program in our program, you'd actually be living in one of our 3 dormitories that we have on site. And as Jim mentioned, all meals are provided too, and we do have some snack times to keep students encouraged during the day to keep them focused. But that's a resident option. We do have a non-resident option, but we're located up Baldwin Avenue, right between Makawao and Paia as well too. So for some students, it's difficult to get to our center campus. We will work with certain families, to work on a transportation plan. I really encourage all students, be a resident. And so a lot of times it's the student's first time that they're leaving home, they're establishing those independent living skills for themselves, and being able to establish those independent living skills. Those are the skills that really help you be successful in a job.
Right.
Understanding that, hey, you know what, I need to do everything that I can after work hours to ensure that I'm employable when I go to work again the following morning. So yeah, it's a good opportunity. We pride ourselves in being an extremely safe and compassionate environment in campus. And Jeremiah, how do you feel about being a resident on center so far?
Being a resident is really fun. We have activities every weekend and during the week. We have pool tables in the rec hall, ping pong tables. We have a karaoke machine. They keep us busy during the day after work and the training day. We have a basketball court, so we stay active. We on the weekends we can go up to Haleakala or go on pass to see your family.
Yeah, I should mention that we're somewhat of a training facility, an educational training facility during the week, but residential students, adults and minors have to be signed out to a guardian, but you can check out at 4 on Fridays and just be back on center by 9 p.m. on Sundays. So it's just work hard, follow the rules during the week, and have a little fun on the weekends, and just come back on Sunday night ready to train and learn more for the week. So,
and why not be a resident? It doesn't cost any more.
No,
it doesn't cost at all.
It doesn't, but it's a big step for a lot of the students, to make.
But what a way to try it.
Yeah, a way to try it. And so still enrolling in the Job Corps program, it allows us to quickly, easily, if a student's a non-resident and they want to become a resident, we can easily make that plan if we have space available in our dormitories. If a student is a resident and wants to become a non-resident, very, very important that we ensure that they have a clear transportation plan and they actually have a very supportive home environment to be going home to. So I want to make sure that student's able to get to Job Corps every single day, and that when they're going back home, that structure is going to be very supportive of their education, their career training that they're taking on.
Right. Is it tough for a 16-year-old to make that transition, more so than an 18 or 20-year-old?
Jeremiah, you want to take that on? It's one of those things. I'll say from an administrator's perspective, the students I see that tend to be most successful within the program, usually coming in between 18 and 24. Students that are coming in that are between the ages of 16 and 17, right before their 18th birthday, it's a little bit harder because we are a very, very safe and very secure environment. So there are a lot of protections and a lot of parameters put on our students that are under the age of 18. But there's also, I think, some different challenges that students that are coming in under 18 are facing, mainly being that they have not usually completed their high school diploma by the time they're coming into the program. So that is goal number one. That is really our goal, is to really work with them to get that high school diploma completed. We work in partnership with McKinley Community School for Adults to identify what diploma pathway will work best for the student according to their academic capacity, whether that's going to be a GED track or using the fairly new coursework in HiSET, or also we have an online high school provider that we work with as well, specifically at the Job Corps Center. So there's lots of different options coming into the program. When a student comes in at 18, they're an adult, and so they're treated as an adult. So we don't have to be as strict in some areas with those students. I really encourage all students that if they respect themselves, respect others, respect the program, they're going to be successful. with us if they just adhere to those norms.
Right. Well, it's all about coming up there for the right reason.
Yeah, I mean, one is to get your GED and your diploma, and also to gain employability skills. You know, I love seeing a kid succeed. One of the students that just recently graduated, he chose to go directly into the workforce, which is fine. It's one of our, places that we really love to send people, is right into a good job. He was training at the facilities maintenance, under the facilities maintenance trade, and he passed the apprenticeship test, and now he is making $19 an hour at 18 years old.
Whoa.
So if he's in the apprenticeship program for, 4 years, he could become his own journeyman, making $35, $40 an hour, which is great. And he just thanked Job Corps a lot, because he wouldn't have been in that situation with no GED and unable to get a minimum wage $10.10 job.
Right.
So we really helped him turn his life around. But again, as Marshall said, he did it all himself.
Right.
So, we're really proud of somebody like that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. We're just about out of time. Last thoughts, Jeremiah. I look forward to hearing you on ESPN.
Yes, ma'am.
We give you, what should we give him, about 7 years before your name right up there?
Calling March Madness. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Would you love to have been calling that game the other day?
Yes, I would have. I would have loved to follow the Duke basketball games.
Oh, poor Duke.
Yeah.
I'd picked Virginia all the way, but that was more luck than sense. Last minute thoughts, guys. It's a great program, and every time I talk with you and you bring a student along, they're so different. There's the things they want. It's not a one size fits all. It works.
Everybody's different, and everybody has a different plan of how they're going to utilize Job Corps to help leverage themselves to a successful future. Students or prospective students coming into the program, I really ask them to think about what areas they want to succeed in, and that Job Corps is not the end of your education and career technical training. Job Corps is only the beginning. So really start investing in the different career tracks that are open to you, whether that's going directly into a career, whether that's going into higher education and college, thinking about advanced training possibly with a Job Corps program, looking, as Jim mentioned, apprenticeship program, or then also going just directly into a high-paying job. And that's our goal.
Real quick, you still have your come and take a look at the center?
We have a tour every Thursday up at the Makawao campus. It's 500 Icky Drive at 10 a.m. every Thursdays.
Great. Do they need to call, make a reservation?
They should, but we'll take flybys.
I got you. I got you. Okay, so check out the website or give them a call. Jim, I think you said your number is 579-6506?
Correct.
Whoa.
Hope to hear from you.
We're running out of time. Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Give them a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Bayshard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. We want to thank Pacific Source for being our sponsor, and they started with us on the first day 10 years ago. And to you, the listeners, we thank you for your response to our agencies and regarding the activities that we talk about on the program. Whoa, we're down to that time. Mahalo for tuning in, and don't forget to join us again next week, right here, same time, same place, when we'll feature 2 more representatives of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week, everyone. Aloha.